The Falcon and the Winter Soldier has now wrapped on Disney+, and after breaking down every episode of the season, I have some thoughts on what we actually saw. It's a show that I think has positives but also negatives, which stop it from becoming as good as some of Marvel's other properties. In particular, this video essay is going to be looking at how the Falcon and the Winter Soldier demonstrates good ideas, but the execution isn't as good. Now, I'm sure many people will disagree on my thoughts, but overall, this is just my subjective opinion, and having reviewed every episode, I wanted to collate my thoughts and give a general reaction to the series. This analysis may also contain spoilers, so if you do happen to be someone who hasn't watched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, then I would recommend watching this video after you've caught up. But if you want to see more videos on all of the upcoming Disney Plus Marvel shows, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoy this video, remember to give it a like rating. But without further ado, let's dive into my video essay for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So to begin with, what was intriguing about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the themes and story ideas that it was trying to bring to the table. This for me was the best element of the show, as it took messages of accountability and power and almost reversed what we saw in Captain America the Winter Soldier. To this day, that film is my favourite Marvel Cinematic Universe project, as it really focused on breaking down the structures of a superhero and how we can challenge them. We hadn't seen it done as it was in that film previously in the MCU, and leading all the way through to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I was excited to see a new take on these primary ideas. The reverse of this resulted in a Winter Soldier who is grieving based on his sins, and not one which is controlled like we saw in that Captain America film. It also resulted in an anti-Captain America, and one who starts as no super soldier, but a super soldier human who we briefly touch upon in regards to his mindset and position. A lot of the other characters fit into this reverse structure when comparing it to Captain America the Winter Soldier, and in turn, it opened up an exciting opportunity to put a new twist on these characters, making us think about where the MCU could be heading and the kind of characters that will spearhead it going forward. Now, alongside this opening concept, the show does some decent things. To start off with, it puts a big focus around the Captain America shield and who is going to take up that mantle. It creates an interesting discussion on who could be fit to be the next Captain America and what kind of hero that needs to be. John Walker at the beginning of the show really made us look at the character in a different light, and right up until the moment where he kills a man for the death of his best friend, the reverse of the Winter Soldier movie plotline is complete, and honestly, I found this really interesting. I know a lot of people didn't like John Walker, but to be honest, up until his team up in the finale, I liked what they tried to do with his character. We don't want to see the same Captain America as before, and with a storyline that is challenging the power of the shield, having the journey of John Walker in there creates a potential for the deconstruction of the superhero. Alongside this, the action of the show and a majority of the visual effects were successfully pulled off. To think this is a TV show is quite astonishing because the graphics and scenes felt like they were a part of a cinematic movie. But this is where the problems of the show often stem from, because it felt like Marvel were trying to take a 6-hour movie and condense it into TV episodes, and we often have plot points that just aren't developed enough to make us care. In my opinion, the end result of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier misses its mark. This is because it takes the ideas that on paper are interesting and turns them into weaknesses. John Walker, for instance, the highly decorated soldier appointed as the new Captain America, slowly erodes into a villain, and this became a chance to show a dark reflection to Steve Rogers and critique the idea of a military-backed superhero. Isaiah Bradley, the forgotten lone survivor criminalized after state experiments, is a biting commentary on real crimes of the US government in the 20th century that reflects on Sam's journey to taking up the shield. Zemo wants to complete his master plan to remove all super soldiers, the rare case of a Marvel villain who isn't motivated by Tony Stark's mistakes. And the Flag Smashers are freedom fighters struggling to adapt to the new world and are people who are fighting back, relating to Marvel's strategy of focusing on villains who do the right thing the wrong way. Together, each of these elements could provide a fascinating discussion on authority and accountability, and alongside this, the two main characters open up for discussion too. As Steve Rogers' chosen successor to the Captain America mantle, Sam Wilson is set on a journey of self-discovery in a world that would doubt him. And Bucky is one of the MCU's most intriguing characters to begin with, a good man turned into a violent killer, one which could directly atone for his sins. Together, the pairing of Steve's best friends offered a traditional buddy team-up against a dramatic background. But while all of these aspects are present, none strike as they felt on paper. In the finale, John Walker is brought back from the edge to be an anti-hero. Isaiah Bradley is established in episode 2 before being absent for the next few hours, returning only when the narrative has caught up. Zemo is completely rewritten from Civil War and now seen as a meme. The Flag Smashers are poorly conceived and highly ineffective in their moral stance, and the character reflection of Sam and Bucky, established in episode 1, is barely engaged with since its inception. It's a lot of promises and references with no payoff or reflection. It's here that there becomes an issue with pacing. Instead of taking on the structure of television and having each episode tackle a specific idea while pushing the main narrative forward, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was essentially a 6-hour movie cut down into chunks. We rushed through episodes worth of plot and primary themes in mostly 5-minute segments. A cliffhanger from the previous episode would be answered in a pre-title scene in the next, without giving any of the different plotlines room to breathe. One of the great potentials of bringing a shared universe to television opened up the door to focus on characters who've only been supporting players previously. This worked well with the first few episodes of WandaVision, along with episode 8, which delivered on putting a light on Wanda's grief through her backstory. The same is not true with The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which manages to waste much of its potential by postponing the bigger picture. This is aside from Sam Wilson, whose journey from being a financially struggling Avenger to the new Captain America, using his Louisiana backstory to add depth to his decisions, but the choices still appear unusual here. Not only that, there's a whole set of characters whose development feels not about the show at hand, but where they are personally going to. Zemo is retconned to be closer to his comic counterpart, and he's less a former soldier vengeful for his family, but rather a reverse Batman with schemes, making for a wittier approach. Similar could be argued for John Walker, with the reformed anti-hero approach. Also, Sharon Carter is now a villain, and the Power Broker transformation isn't really explained beyond the fact that she was left adrift by the US government. Neither is the fact that the almost love interest of Steve Rogers was the closest the show had to a power player behind the scenes. It's a turn made for the sake of the next entry, evidenced by the post-credit scene, without any continuity to the character. And although Bucky has suffered, he's also a character that it seems Marvel has struggled to place since he broke free of the Winter Soldier mind control. Bucky's arc is letting go of the Winter Soldier, but what either side of his psyche really isn't clearly explained, with changes to how the mysterious assassin was viewed and his role as an Avenger was questioned. The main journey is shown in Bucky's relationship to the father of one of his victims, a subplot which holds weight for the character, and in the end, we get nowhere near a successful development of this. For me, the opening of the show had a lot of potential with the themes it puts on paper, and ones which, if delivered on, could have made it something as compelling as, say, Captain America the Winter Soldier. But the lost development of this, and the jumbling of different plot points and characters, loses its focus and doesn't make us care enough for the central two characters, which the show is named after. We leave plot points from the opening episode and don't return to them till much later on. There's also conflicting hypocrisy, like when Falcon kills multiple people in the first action scene in the opening episode, but then episodes later, he's fully positioned himself as someone who strives for accountability and won't pull the trigger at all costs. Furthermore, the villains and their motivations don't become attachable enough for the audience to care about what they are doing or why we should eventually fear them. Overall, taking this and coupling it with bad pacing and moments of unnatural dialogue honestly felt like a grind to watch at times. For me, it was ultimately the execution of ideas and characters that the show proposed which let the Falcon and the Winter Soldier down. Now, I don't think it's a bad show, and 2 of the episodes I gave really good reviews, but I do think that the majority of the season was lacking for the greater potential it had. But that was my brief video on what I thought of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Thematically, the show is high-reaching, and stylistically, it's aiming for a genre that is built on high technical production. But the cracks appear when the intriguing and important plotlines are sacrificed in the wake of everything that is usually brought to the big screen. It's a show that I think had the potential to be a lot better, and one that honestly, I don't feel the urge to re-watch like some of Marvel's other projects. I'm giving The Falcon and the Winter Soldier a rating of 6.75 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and overall, regardless of my thoughts on this season of television, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next shows on Marvel's schedule. Right now, Loki is the next show to come out on Disney+, and I will be covering it here on the channel. I'm also intrigued to hear all of your thoughts on this first season of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so let me know down below in the comment section. For more content on all the upcoming Marvel shows, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.